My name is Rajni Srikant, and I am in the English department at the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
And my name is Min Song, and I'm in the Department of English at Boston College.
And we are the delighted and proud co editors of the 4 volume series Asian American Literature in Transition.
5 years ago, we co-edited the Cambridge History of Asian American Literature. In putting together that collection, we realized that the field of Asian American literature is thriving with abundant and emergent creative work. The literary landscape we had illuminated in the history was worthy of further exploration and examination. And so this series, Asian American Literature in Transition.
The word transition suggests movement, change, shifting contours, and a vibrant trajectory, all qualities and features that characterize the capacious terrain of Asian American literature. The 4 volumes in this series do full justice to the field's dynamism.
Volume 1, which spans the period 1850 to 1930, is brilliantly co-edited by Josephine Lee and Julia Lee. During this period, significant numbers of immigrants from East Asia and South Asia arrived in North America, and their creative and expressive output captures their hopes, despair, and the complexities of their experiences. This volume engages the poems at Angel Island, the Komagata Maru incident in Vancouver, and the fiction of the Eurasian sisters Suisun Farr, or Edith Eaton, and Onoto Watana, or Winifred Eaton, among other writers. We learn about miscegenation plots in early Asian American literature and representations in drama by and of Asian Americans.
Volume 2, which ranges from 1930 to 1965, is expertly and energetically co-edited by Victor Bhaskara and Josephine Park. This period takes us through the Great Depression, World War II, and the Cold War, and it brings us to the social protest movements of the 1960s. The volume engages Asian American realism, the betrayal of Japanese Americans in the mass incarceration, and it shows the links between the 1947 partition of the Indian subcontinent and Asian American literature and literary history. The writers covered in this volume include the Leap Sing Sound, Young Hill Kang, Jose Garcia Villa, Carlos Bulosan, Helena Kuo, Eileen Chang, Mine Okubo, John Okada, and Richard Kim.
Volume 3 brings us to the tumult and promise of the Asian American movement and examines the connection between its aspirations and those of the decolonizing movements in Asia and Africa, as well as the fierce resistance of the civil rights movement in the United States. This volume brings us the scintillating co-editorship of Asha Nadkarni and Kathy Schlen-Biles. In the introduction, Nadkarni writes about a volume that covers the period 1965 to 1996, that it offers a, quote, multivalent perspective on the creation of what is now recognizable as the Asian American literary canon. This volume shows us the emergence of Asian American studies as an interdiscipline grounded in critical race-based theories and drawing its energies from domestic and global liberation movements and anti-war activism.
Volume 4 spans 1996 through 2020, encompassing the attacks of September 11, 2001, the global war on terror unleashed by the United States, the targeting of Muslim, Arab, and South Asian Americans, the global phenomenon of the climate crisis, and expanded LGBTQ rights. This volume brings us the capacious vision of its co-editors, Betsy Huang and Victor Roman Mendoza. Barack Obama and Donald Trump were both presidents during this period, and the stark polarity of their aspirations for the United States makes this a period filled with unpredictabilities and mixed sentiments. Volume 4 reveals the ways in which Asian American literary production reflects the myriad imperatives of this period.
The series brings us to the threshold of the global COVID pandemic, the extreme danger to Asian Americans that the past 18 months have thrust into our national consciousness. makes this series a crucial intervention in understanding the long history of the Asian American experience. We hope that the nuanced, complex, astute, and empathic analyses in these volumes underscores the profound humanity of Asian Americans.
And finally, we want to acknowledge the enormous collective work that has gone into the production of these 4 volumes and their simultaneous publication. It's not always easy to work together in such large numbers toward a common goal, but it's so satisfying to see how our shared labor has come together to produce such a rich and, we feel, important set of critical writings. This is how the field of Asian American literary studies was built, as a collective endeavor, and how we will continue to build it as we move into an uncertain future.
Thank you.
Thank you.